Ugh, I hate undead. Oh, you're here. Hello. Yes, today's video is about undead versus undead. And specifically, we're going to be talking about vampire counts versus tomb kings. Tomb kings are definitely the best undead faction in the game, I would say broadly right now. Both counts and coast are probably lower on the tier rankings if I were to make a tier rankings. Yeah, they just kind of struggle. Unfortunately, my preferred Bone Tonia play style when I do actually play vampire counts is not great. Blood Knights are definitely outclassed in the elite cavalry arms race these days, and Black Knights exist. They're a unit that is definitely in the game. On the other hand, I should say, the vampire counts do have a few good things going for them. Gorst is not good, but he is funny, and so he's fine here. The Banshees are probably one of the best ethereal units in the game, like actually, legitimately. They're incredibly cheap, super fast, they're single entities. They do have relatively low HP, but pure 100% HP, only 290 weapon strength, not a ton overall. But it's still more AP than a lot of, like, probably more AP than a High Elf Noble has. I actually don't know without checking, but somebody check me on that in the comments below and let us all know. Anyway, the rest of this build here, we've got zombies as a frontline, crypt horrors, backed up by Graveguard Halberds, who are definitely a nice recent addition. Sternsman Graveguard mixed in here as well, and then Gorse to be the Mortis Engine and Corpse Cart all rolled into one. We got a huge skeleton horde on the opposite side here. This is Lenorm versus Anti-Kaiju, I should say. Yeah, Cetra the Imperishable and the Sphinx of Usek here for the double Sphinx allotted by the rules. I assume this is a Vermin League game. I actually don't know. Skeleton Spears, yeah, and the Kepper Guard. We've got Eyes of the Desert Sepulchral Stalkers and Skeleton Horse Archers. So let's get things rolling. Historically, these big, powerful single entities have been kind of the bane of vampire counts. But the Graveguard Halberds definitely give you a decent kind of grinding support infantry, but oh, look at that impact damage, man, just running sideways through the Sternsman there with the Incantation of Vengeance at the same time, just absolutely mows them down. They're going to get hit by a nice Invocation of the Heck there to heal them back up, and of course their innate regeneration means they're not just going to die immediately, but a lot of damage, as they say. The two Banshees detach into the front line. They're going to try and squirt through the front line and get after these Eyes of the Desert. You see the Crypt Horrors do the same thing, just running straight through those Skeleton Warriors. Man, I remember a time, this is a major throwback, but way back in the Rome 2 days when I used to watch Arab Carthage and the Rome 2 tournaments he would cast. And I remember, like, no pull-through was literally, like, in the tournament rule set. Anyway, the Banshees, they actually managed to switch. Yeah, they're going to go for Cetra here. Definitely a nice kind of trap attempt by all the Crypt Horrors, stacking that poison with the Frostbite, trying to get multiple slows in here to pin Cetra in. Has a little bit of a bump there with his Necrosphinx, trying to switch. Necrosphinx does dive in, but it's a pretty tough engagement. The Banshees, the Graveguards, the Crypt Horrors, it's a lot of AP, a lot of healing too, and Gorse just kind of being left to his own devices here. Kaiju, like, very gentlemanly, not trying to snipe Gorse here with the Sphinx of Usek, who would get nice damage buff against him because of his regeneration trait, and it does fire damage, so there's that. I think, did he actually bring the Blessed Blade? Yeah, he did, actually. So, Cetra could do fire damage. And here we see the gentlemanly facade is dropped, and the snipe attempt on Gorse is active, and damage is very real. Oh, he timed it with the Liber Noctis. I don't know if that was intentional, but Gorse is taking some self-damage at this time as well. So, in an attempt to aid the Tomb Kings in finishing him off, he's reading his cursed book. He's burning his eyes. But he does manage to maybe get away here. Let's see, we're on Gorse Watch. How many times on this channel have we been on Gorse Watch through the years, to be honest? Just checking to see, will he get away from whatever terrifying thing is chasing him? That's why I love Gorse. Anyway, yeah, some more Incantation of Vengeance there, and the Graveguard Halberds holding. Gorse does manage to actually escape. And it looks like the Skeleton Horse Archers kind of pulling back there, reassessing. The longer this grind fight goes, the more it's going to go in favor of the vampire counts with their passive regeneration and their AP and everything. Yeah, I mean, the Tomb Kings, in terms of combat stats outside of their single entities, are very much overmatched. Kepler Guard are doing okay, but yeah, also taking some pretty serious damage. Let's see, the Banshees, check in on them as Gorse once again faces his final doom. Actually, I haven't got that much value in and of themselves, but I do still like the pick of them here nonetheless. Let's see if this is maybe their time to shine, when they can actually chase Cetra and get consistent hits on him, maybe. Do they have the charge speed to keep up? Yeah, they got a hit there. Yeah, speed, there we go, frostbitten. Fortunately, one thing about the War Sphinx, a reason that it's so good, is that its charge animations last for a long time, and they also like proc from a pretty good distance. And so, yeah, the charge will basically prevent it, at least if it's chasing directly here, from catching Banshee. But yeah, we're gonna see there the curse pops off, I believe, right? Yeah, doing some nice direct damage in a big AoE around Cetra when he gets to a certain threshold. Does Blessed Blade also give magic damage? I do forget these things. Yes, so if he does have that available once it pops, he can, yeah, which I think he did just pop it there, can absolutely slay the Banshee with that active. Sphinx of Usek also does magic damage, takes a good swipe at the Banshee, but unfortunately just doesn't have the HP to stand in that fight. Without any healing from Necrotex or anything, can't stand against the attrition. And vampire counts, definitely, if they have won things over the Tomb Kings, and this is true historically, and even still to this day, they can just do attrition better. They're probably one of the best attrition factions in the game still. I mean, it's not a playstyle that will win a lot of games right now, because they can just get chalked out of it, and there's enough scary stuff that can just win in melee in certain matchups that, yeah, counts. Unfortunately, because that's all they have, is melee troops, they just lose. But, I mean, obviously, skill disparity, specific player interactions, not saying that counts are completely hopeless. They definitely can win games, but I just wouldn't rate them super highly. But, you know, as a known counts hater, part of me is fine with that, but specifically, again, my own bias towards heavy cavalry, wanting that playstyle for counts to be more viable. I wouldn't mind to see some buffs for counts cavalry. Would be nice for Blood Knights to get similar treatment to what Grail Knights got, although I should specify the updated version of Grail Knights, not when Grail Knights are actually broken. Like, Grail Knights right now are good, arguably kind of situational, but anyway, they're not in this replay, so let's talk more about what's actually on the screen here. And again, the two Banshees, yeah, end up just about paying for themselves. I mean, they're so cheap, might as well have them, right? And tactically getting that frostbite here and there might have helped to a degree, but also just good build construction. I mean, lots of AP, lots of anti-large, good, you know, regeneration. You're playing into a lot of the strengths here of vampire counts against the Tomb Kings, especially in the tournament rule set as it is. Yeah, you know, you don't see like double Sphinx with the Necro Sphinx, right? I think they both actually technically count as the same unit, so like you can only take two Sphinxes total. That being said, you know, the Tomb Guard Halberds might be a good support option here, but they do kind of lose to even like the regular Shielded Grave Guard, I think, pretty badly, so it's not like an ideal trade by any means there. The infantry favor definitely goes to the vampire counts. I think Tomb Kings just have more flexibility and broadly trade well into more matchups. This specific matchup right now, I mean, the Tomb Kings single entities I think are strong enough that it's probably still basically even. Vampire counts do have some like specific kind of interactional advantages, but yeah, the Grave Guard here actually performing quite well, especially for sort of a mid-tier, upper mid-tier halberd. Yeah, overall pretty solid. Kaiju, I mean, obviously you would expect Cetra gets a lot of value. The Sphinx, interestingly, not quite as much. The Skeleton Horse Archers also definitely pay for themselves and then some. Like, I get why you would want to have the Nehekara Horsemen just to have some extra mass here, but I mean, hindsight 2020, maybe just better to have more Skeleton Horse Archers, honestly. Do some skirmishing here. But yeah, an interesting battle. Definitely two interesting factions. I don't know, this year, what do you think the odds we see a DLC focusing on Nagash that includes all the undead factions? I obviously have no inside information, absolute total speculation on that. I think it'd be cool as much as an undead hater, as much of an undead hater as I am. It really would be something to see. So maybe this year we'll see something like that. Maybe not. Nonetheless, I'll continue to bring you more battles of undead and living and everything else. So be sure to subscribe for more. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.